Hey guys, welcome to Foodies Live, streaming live from the Sub-Zero Wolf showroom in Scottsdale, Arizona. Today we're joined in the kitchen by Chef Dennis Frazier from K8RPHX, and he's going to show us a few really kind of whimsical, inventive hors d'oeuvres and then provide us some tips on how we can recreate them at home. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chef Dennis.
Hey, welcome to Foodies Live. I'm Dennis Frazier. So let's start like this. We all love to entertain, right? But here's the thing. Sometimes we're just a little bit apprehensive about actually getting hands-on with our entertaining. And so I wanted to create a show today where we can show you some of these different techniques that we do in the catering business. They're actually simple. You learn a few techniques. You learn a few little store-bought ingredients, put it all together, and you get something really great. So we're going to do 3 for you today. We're going to do a grilled cheese straw with a tomato bisque shooter. We're going to do an antipasto cone, and we're going to finish up with a really nice way to do brie and green apple, which is a kind of a classical pairing, classical combination. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so grilled cheese straw with tomato bisque shooter. Really simple stuff. We're going to start with a pot. We're going to make this tomato bisque shooter, and this is so simple. It's about 5 ingredients, and you can make it ahead of time, which is terrific. You know what I mean? So let's get started with a little bit of oil. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to add some flour. We're going to actually make a roux here. That's going to be our thickening agent for the soup. Let me get a whisk. All right. So we got this over high heat, and we're going to whisk it, get all the lumps out of it. Add a little more flour to it. All right. You guys like grilled cheese?
Love it.
Yeah, good stuff, right?
Now, Chef, what, is it just your personal preference to use oil over butter to make a roux?
It's a good question. I'm using the extra virgin olive oil just because I think it tastes better in the soup. But you're right. And I mean, you're in culinary school, so equal parts clarified butter to flour by weight, I believe is how they should be teaching you there. So I've been making a lot of roux over the years, so it's kind of one of those things where I just get it done. So anyhow, but extra virgin olive oil is a nice flavor. And I've used bacon grease to make roux. You can use different things. It really depends on what you want to do. All right, so we've got our roux heated up. We've got the lumps whisked out of it. What we're going to do is we're going to add equal parts of chicken stock and store-bought tomato juice, real simple. All right. Whisk that in. We're going to add a little pinch of salt, and a little pinch of freshly ground pepper. Now what we want to do is let that come to a boil. Once that comes to a boil, we're going to reduce the heat, and we're going to simmer it for about 15 minutes or so. We want to let those flavors kind of meld together. So after you get to that point, you can leave this on the stove couple hours before your guest arrives, so you're not kind of panicking. It's done. You just got to finish it. And that's what we have here. So I'm actually going to switch pots, because we did one earlier, to that stage. You can see that this is tightened up and thickened. Well, you might not be able to see from the overhead, but it's thickened up, and it's nice and tight. So we're going to warm the soup back up, and we're going to finish it. And we're going to finish it by simply adding a little bit of cream to it, about a half cup. All right. We're going to let that come to a boil. So I'm actually going to let this do its thing for just a minute. I'm going to add a touch more cream. It looks a little on the thick side. Kind of sat first a little bit. All right, so we're going to work that in.
Hey, Chef.
Yeah.
You said tomato juice. Mm-hmm. So as opposed to tomatoes, is it going to be a shorter period to kind of burn off the acid of the tomatoes as opposed to using the tomato juice a little quicker?
Yeah, here's the thing. I use tomato juice in this recipe for the viewers watching because it's simple. You can buy tomato juice in a can. You can buy chicken broth. I mean, people aren't going to have time to make stock in their stove all day. I mean, I'm a chef and I hardly have time to do it. So I'm trying to put together a recipe. It's just a few ingredients. To answer your question, yes, it really melds, and the cream helps really kind of balance that out. We season it out. We're going to finish it with some fresh basil. It's like a 5-ingredient soup, and it's super simple to make. So while this is heating up, we're actually going to move over to the grilled cheese straws. Why do I call these grilled cheese straws? Well, because they're straws. We actually make straws that are filled with cheese, and you can actually bite off both ends. You can actually drink the soup through the straw if you want it, and it's completely edible. You can also eat the soup. Yeah, really cool. How do you guys like your grilled cheese? I'm doing the classical American and white bread. I mean, that's what I grew up eating when I was a kid. Tomato soup. Of course, it wasn't this fancy gourmet stuff. It was the stuff in the little cans. But mine was good, don't get me wrong. And American cheese. So that's what we're going to do today. But I've done ones where you've had like maybe pipe a little cream cheese, a little roasted jalapeno, and do kind of like almost like a jalapeno popper style straw. How about you, Jeff? What would you do?
I like grown-up grilled cheese. Tomato, bacon, maybe some Munster, change of cheese.
Not bad. Brie and
tasty.
applewood smoked bacon. That's good news. You can have some fun with that. Beth, how do you like it? Just the classic American?
I like the classic. I like a little bit grown up. Some of the more like gourmet crusty bread and
That would be
gourmet
nice.
cheeses too. So.
Yeah, and speaking of the bread, you can use any bread you want. What we want to do is take the crust off, and if you've got kids, turn this heat down a little bit. You're probably an expert at this part. So we're going to take the crust off the bread. I'll do 4 here. We're just going to get rid of these. You don't have to be perfect, but the crust will kind of cause problems, so you want to get it out of the way. All right. So what we do is we've got our bread. We're going to take a rolling pin, and we're just going to roll this bread out one way, and then we'll turn it and roll it out the other way. What you're left with is basically really, really, really thin bread. So we're going to do that a few more times so I can demo some of these for you. Turn it over this way. And we'll go on to the next one here.
Chef, are there any kind of tricks of the trade for, I don't know, people at home just to create really unique hors d'oeuvres?
Well, yeah, that's what they're
presentation?
watching today.
Yeah.
We're going to do 3 for you, and these are 3 that I've been doing in the catering company for a while. And like I said, if you get into more gourmet ingredients and stuff like that, you really have a blast with it. But it's a thing where people are amazed. And what I'm going to show you is you do this all in advance. So you're not like constantly in the kitchen pounding away while your guests are trying to enjoy themselves. You get this stuff done. You put the food out. You get to have fun. They have a good time. And, you know, they fawn over the food that you do. I'm going to throw this in the garbage can really quick. They fawn over the food that you do, and you kind of just play it off like, oh, that old thing. You don't know how to do that, I tell them. So, whatever.
I just threw that together.
Yeah, it's just something hooked up. I mean, come on, geez, it's just cheese and bread, people. You know, it's okay. I'm not going to tell anyone. So what I want to do is I've got 3 slices of American cheese. I've got them stacked. So I'm just cutting little strips, and this is actually going to be the filling for the cheese. I would stay away from anything that's going to be really firm, like a Parmesan, even like a really hard Gouda or something like that. You're not going to get the milk quality. It's going to cause you more problems than it will solutions. But like blue cheese, gorgonzola, things like that, they go really well. And it's kind of a really unique flavor, especially if you're doing, you know, nice. If you're doing a cocktail party and you're having wine, it's a nice pairing. You can put that into effect as well. Okay, so what we got is our thin pieces of bread. And we're going to take these cheese, put it about a 1/2 inch off center of the cheese. It's going to be simple. We're going to roll these up, okay? You guys want to know where I actually got this from? This
Where?
idea?
Where'd you get it?
Okay, well, if you know me, you know I like grilled cheese, and you know I like sports. That's the 2 things that I like. So I was sitting at a sports bar eating some mozzarella sticks, watching football, and I said, I wonder why they only do mozzarella sticks. Why can't they do other sticks? I wasn't supposed to do that. There's a little comical side note. You don't pre-fry the cheese. All right.
It was ready to get in the fryer.
So yeah, the oil's hot. That's how you check the oil professionally.
There you go.
Cheese thermometer?
Yeah, cheese thermometer. So anyhow, we're going to dock the ends off this. I just like it gives you a nice clean look, okay? We'll do one more just for, if you haven't gotten this by now, I mean, come on, people, you're rolling cheese up in bread. Okay, so we're going to roll that up and we'll dock this off too. All right, let me stir this soup really quick and see it kind of doing its thing.
So your inspiration was the
Yeah, so
sports
sorry,
bar?
I was eating these mozzarella sticks going, why is there always mozzarella? Why can't it be, other cheese? Let me throw this away. And then I started thinking, well, if you did American cheese, you did this, it would probably just explode. You couldn't really do blue cheese because it would ooze out. So I started thinking, well, how could you do it? And I said, if you wrapped it in bread, rolled the bread out, I started just kind of brainstorming as I'm sitting there at, on a bar stool watching football. I don't know why, that just got in my head. But as I said, when I get back to my kitchen, I'm going to try this. I think this could work. So I tried it. It worked great from the start, and I've been doing them ever since, and people just love them because they're this delicious little bite. And I wasn't sure what I was going to, I was just going to call them cheese straws originally, but then I tasted it. We're not actually grilling it, we're frying them, but they taste like grilled cheese when you're done. Okay, so anyways, I threw one into the deep fryer, so we're going to get rid of that piece of bread.
Chef, we got a question from Susan in Phoenix.
Hey, Susan.
You're talking about football. She's wondering, are you a Raiders fan because of the jacket, or are you a Cardinals fan?
That's a good question. It's a twofer. I do like the hometown Arizona Cardinals, but I grew up a diehard Chicago Bears fan, and I remain that way to this day. So, but I do like the Cardinals. Don't get me wrong. I watch every game, and I'm often going to the game. And the Bears are coming to town this year, by the way, so that's going to be a fun game for me to go see. But I'll wear my Cardinals jersey just to be a good boy.
Sneak in some cheese straws?
There you go. Like I should be against the Green Bay Packers. Oh God, don't get me started. Okay, so once you get to this point, you want to let these set up in the refrigerator for about a half hour just so they get good and firm again. Okay, what we're gonna do, real simple, we don't need to use flour in the egg wash procedure because the bread is so porous, it's gonna absorb the egg. A lot of times, you'll see recipes that want you to dip it in flour, especially if you're using like vegetables, but this bread's gonna hold the egg, so it's gonna be fine. What you wanna do is you wanna take the seam, you wanna dip the seam down in there and seal it, okay, and then you wanna submerge the whole thing in the egg wash. And then we're going to put it right into the breadcrumbs. Notice, one wet hand, one dry hand. That keeps you from battering your fingers.
Oh, yeah.
Breading your fingers. Although, when I was a hooligan back in the day, we used to just bread our fingers and put them in the deep fryer. But don't try that at home. We were trained professionals.
Definitely
We
not.
were idiots. Okay. So anyhow, that's what you want. You want a good cheese straw that's nicely breaded. You've definitely got the ends so you're not going to ooze any cheese out. And you want to take these and you want to put them in the freezer because you've got to freeze them solid. That's the best way. If you notice, my hands are actually clean. They're not breaded and nothing like that. So over here, let me stir this one more time. Keep an eye on my soup while we're doing this. That's looking really good. It's always important to taste. So let's get a spoon here, see where we're at flavor-wise. That's so incredibly simple. It's just a few ingredients, but man, does that taste good. All right, so we're going to finish this with some fresh basil.
Chef, we got a question from Nadia in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, hey Nadia.
She's wondering about the actual breading procedure you have. So you got the bread and the egg wash. Did you use any specific breadcrumbs or?
You know what, as a chef, I've always got bread on hand. That was just white bread, day-old white bread that I dried out in the oven and then just ground up in a food processor. I make my own rather than going to the store and buying it, but you certainly can. Just go get yourself from the store. You can find flavors there. You could probably do it with panko, although I probably wouldn't. You could try it, but I would definitely use just a fine regular breadcrumb. I like them unseasoned because you're getting so much bold flavor from the cheese and the bread and all that stuff. And we're going to finish them with a little bit of salt when they come out as well. But experiment. Again, this is a technique. Take this back into your kitchen and do what you want to do with it. I'm just showing you the template and then let your creativity take it somewhere else. You know what I mean? Do a coconut curry cheese straw or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Whatever you can think of.
Yeah.
Okay, so this soup is basically done. It's seasoned just right. I put the basil in there at the very end. That's going to kind of fragrance the soup. And it's amazingly easy, and it's just incredible how delicious that tastes with just a few store-bought ingredients. Okay, so I'm going to go over to the freezer here.
Chef, I noticed that you didn't have to stir the soup too much in between. Did you have to worry about the cream curdling or burning, scorching on the bottom?
No, well, remember, I had made this up in advance. This was the base, and then to show the demonstration, then I made this up in advance. When you're using heavy cream, it's really hard to separate the heavy cream. You can do it. I guess if you boiled it really hard, it would boil over before it would probably break. You could do it with milk if you want to cut some of the fat out of it, but you're using such a little bit in one of these itty-bitty little cups. Live a little, you know what I mean? But you could do it with milk, but you'd have more of a chance of breaking it if you did it that way. All right, so that soup's looking really good. These guys are frozen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few of these, and we're going to drop them right into the hot oil, about 360 degrees. I wouldn't go any hotter than that, because what's going to happen is the outsides are going to brown too much before the actual insides cook. 360 is what I like to cook these at. 375 would, I think, be a little bit too hot. And of course, anything up into the 400s. Now, there's an old short order cook adage: fry it till it floats, and that's what we're going to do.
Fry it till it
If you can
floats.
see from the other head, they're sunk to the bottom. And then they're going to stay there. And that's how a lot of short order cooks learn to cook things: is throw it in the deep fryer when it's frozen, when it floats and it's golden, it's done. So I'm sharing a little industry tip with you on that one.
Nice.
So we're going to fry these up for a few. These are going to take a few minutes to cook. And get this out of the way for the time being. And I've got a little paper towel to drain them off on. All right. Now, if you don't have a deep fryer built into your countertop like we do here at the Sub-Zero Wolf showroom, doesn't everybody have one? No.
I would imagine so.
You can certainly do a pot of oil on the stove. Don't go more than halfway. Make sure you got a thermometer because oil's dangerous. You don't want to get it too hot. Like I said, 360, make sure you got that thermometer on there. Or they make even tabletop models that you can buy that actually work pretty good. I've used them. You can get them pretty reasonable price, and I'm kind of talking over the frying here, but they do work out pretty well. All right, so that's going. We've got our soup done. We're going to move this out of the way, actually, because we don't really need it right now. Go back here. All right.
So this is a kid's show, but we do have an adult question about the tomato sauce, or the tomato soup.
Not too adult, though.
Not too adult. Could you turn them into shooters, add in a little alcohol?
Oh, sure. Why not?
And that's
you know, it would be. Actually, it's a good question. Could you put alcohol in a tomato soup? Sure, vodka or something like that. I don't know why you would though.
Are you going to want to put it at the end though, just so that the alcohol doesn't burn off?
Well, it depends if you want it. Well, no, I would cook it in like I would cook alcohol into a sauce or something like that. I would actually want to cook it and dissipate the alcohol so you get the natural flavor. Again, maybe a little tequila and do like a Southwest style soup for sure. All right, so these are almost done. What we're going to do is we're going to take these off here. You can actually see when they're almost done because just like mozzarella sticks, they float and they start to pop in the ends. You know, that cheese is melted. It's molten lava right now, basically. So we're going to take those out and I put my salt back here. As promised, just a pinch of salt to finish these things off, okay? Just going to do a little bit on there. All right. While those are draining, we're going to go ahead and get the soup ready to go. We have got a, where did I put it? Oh, there it is. We got our ladle. I'm just using a 1 ounce, a cup measure. You can use whatever you want. I just like it. It's got the little pour spout there, and we're trying to pour into such a small space. Okay. All right. So here we go.
Okay. So Ryan from LA has a question.
The name was what?
Ryan.
Ryan. Hey, Ryan.
He's actually wondering about the color of the soup. Since he saw that the red tomato juice went in, what gave it its orange color now?
That's the heavy cream that we put in at the end. They lighten the soup, and what it does is it really adds a silkiness to the soup because, as Jeff pointed out before, those tomatoes can be a little acidic, a little tart. The cream just balances it out and really makes it just this kind of almost like a bisque. Like if you've ever had a really nice lobster bisque or something like that, nice. They're usually putting some cream in it, and that's to help meld the whole thing out. But because the cream is white, it does lighten the color up. So anyhow, we're going to fill these up. These are just disposable shooter cups that I got. You know, you get like 1,000 of them for like $10. But if you have shot glasses, maybe you're the type of person that collects shot glasses, then you can bust out your shot glasses and do them that way too if you want. Oops, I spilled a little bit.
That's where the tequila or vodka would come in handy too.
There you go, right? All right, so we filled these up. and clean my room up here.
So then do you want to serve those pretty much right after you pour them out of the saucepan?
Yeah, here's the thing with these. You brought me up to a good point, is the soup you can make ahead of time, up into the cream part. You add the cream, stir it in, re-season it, and finish with your basil, okay? But now you can keep a lid on this. Say your guests are arriving in 20 minutes, okay? The soup's 100% done now, okay? The cheese stars you can fry, put them on a sheet pan, and put them in a warm oven, maybe 160, 170 degrees, just keep them warm. Okay, and then when they come, you can just assemble them as you need them. You can do 5 at a time, you can do 10 at a time. You know, you want to entertain with your guests, but they're going to see these things like, hey, what are these things? I want to try one of these. So anyhow, we got these over here. What we're going to do is we're just going to stick one of these in each one of the cups. Well, I fried 4 and I've got 6 soups, so I kind of messed up there. But anyhow, these are these neat little hors d'oeuvres, and you put these things out on a tray. Let's see, you know what? Because I'm OCD, I'm going to drop 2 more. So we keep 6. Okay, Jeff, come here, try this.
I'm in.
Here, take one to Beth too.
Oh, thanks.
They're rocket hot though, okay? I'm gonna eat one too, but
don't go blasting off.
Chef's got mouths of steel. We're supposed to be eating this hot stuff.
You're braver than I am. I can see the steam coming off.
Look at that. Can you see that? Which camera shot coming in with that?
Oh.
Look at that.
Stay there.
See steam coming off that?
Oh, I see. I got it.
Nice.
Liquid, little cheese soup.
That's delicious.
How's that soup, right?
Oh.
5 ingredients? Oh God, I ate a whole stack of these.
You're gonna give me a heart attack.
But it's a cute little
It's
thing.
amazing.
You put that out. Excuse me, I'm chewing now.
Sorry if everyone out there is hearing crunching.
I know, right? Did you like it, Beth?
It's amazing.
good, isn't
It's
it?
really good.
I'm thinking about it with like applewood smoked bacon or tomatoes or gorgonzola brie, whatever the kind of stuff that you want to do. Let me finish these off because I've got hungry cameramen here too that want to eat. All right, so we'll set that one up there, and then just find a nice little serving platter to put them on, and let me check these out really quick. But isn't that soup nice? I mean, being just a handful of ingredients, and it's super simple. All right.
Yeah, it's
so anyhow,
really good.
we're gonna fry those out. You've kind of seen this. Get a little bit of salt back there. Okay. So here's the salt. All right. So there's your first hors d'oeuvre. And of everything that we did, that is the hardest one. What we're going on to today, the next two, easy as pie, and your guests are going to love them. So let me go to the fridge really quick.
So you're saying it gets easier than that? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing we're doing today.
Wow.
Made a 5-ingredient soup and, rolled out some bread. All right, so antipasto cones. Let's see here. All right, so salami. You can use whatever kind you want. I happen to have Genoa. What we're going to do, lay a few pieces out. I guess I'll make 3 for you today, just to give you the gist of it. Let me get a different knife from down here. What I want to do, remember when you said that, where am I at here? Remember when you said that, high school you'd never use algebra again? Well, I'm going to make you do a radius cut today, so fooled you. You actually get to use algebra again.
Oh, dang it.
Anyhow, you want to cut halfway through so you make like these little Pac-Mans. Waka, 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 waka. Anyhow, so we've got 3 of these done. Real simple. You just made a cut halfway through it. What you're going to do is, this is the technique where you just take these, and you just basically roll them up using the slit that you just made into them. And you get, voila, a cone, okay?
Wow.
We're going to take, this is cream cheese, and we're just going to pipe a little bit of cream cheese into the bottom of these. 2 reasons. Two reasons. Number 1, it works as a stopper, so it keeps anything you put in there from dripping. And number 2, it also helps keep the cones closed. Talk a second about these pallets. I made these. I went to a hobby store. These are $3 balsa wood pallets. I painted them black and sealed them. Cut holes in them and sealed them. I mean, they're great. For parties, you can put them on stands like I have here, or you can just butler pass them, on your, if you're hiring a server to help you out with the party, they can walk around the party and do it. So let me do a couple more really quick here.
We actually had a couple of questions in the chat room.
Yeah, go ahead.
What kind of oil do you prefer to use for the frying?
That was canola oil in there. It's got to be a high smoke point. A lot of people use peanut oil. That's really popular, especially in the South. But somebody has a peanut allergy, you run the risk. So I just use canola oil. That's just the kind of stuff that I've always used.
One other question.
Yeah.
Can you use any sort of non-dairy substitute, like rice milk in the soup or anything like that?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you could probably use rice cheese. I'm not overly familiar with the different types that are on the market. If it has a good melting quality, it would work great in the actual straw. Mm-hmm. And then if you wanted to use rice milk or something like that, I would just experiment with it. I've never actually tried to fortify a soup or finish a soup with like rice milk or almond milk or something like that. But give it a shot. Do it in advance. If it messes up, you can just always go with a plan B. That's the way I look at it.
That's true.
Okay, so we're going to fill these with the caprese salad. This is one of the simplest things in the world. Let me get a spoon from down here. So we've got diced tomato, and this is just the flesh only. We've got some diced fresh mozzarella. Okay, a little bit of basil. And then we're going to hit it with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and of course some really nice fruity extra virgin olive oil, just a drizzle. You don't want too much because remember we're filling the cones with these. But you need a little bit in there, the flavor and the kind of gives a nice glisten to the whole thing. Mix this up. Now if I was making this for a party, I would want to let this sit for 20 minutes or so, something like that. Let it get good and kind of macerated, let the salt kind of do what it does, start to break things down. But this is a live show, so we're going to keep going. Anyhow, this is how simple that is. We're going to take these cones that we made, and we're going to take some of this filling, and we're just going to fill these cones up, just like that. Put them right back into the pallet. Like that. Do another one here. Jeff, you're in culinary school. What else would you put in these cones?
Could do a little bit of anything.
Like what? Give me an idea here.
Caponata?
You could. That would work. That would work. Maybe like artichoke with like Kalamata olives and feta and sun-dried tomatoes. That would be tasty.
Oh, absolutely.
How about maybe like some balsamic grilled vegetables? That would be really tasty. So these are really cool. You do the whole palette full. Then you can do either the same one like caprese. Everybody loves caprese. Or you could actually get out and do, like I said, some of the other ones that put rose in. It's just one of those neat things people go, wait, what is that? And it's one bite and it's clean and it's gone. Let me get a towel here. So does anybody got any questions on that? Beth, think you could do these for your next party?
Well, I do have a question. Could you possibly make them vegetarian? Could you replace
Yeah, you know what? That's a
salami?
good. You're not the first person to ask me that. I would say if you went and got like nice sized golden beets, peel them and slice them thin. You may need to blanch them in some water. You just have to play with it.
Oh, okay.
Anything that's round, you could definitely do it with that. That would work. If you didn't eat the meat, for sure. I mean, that would be really nice. You could fill it with other root vegetables and could be a nice little thing. That would look really cool. I would stay away from the purple beets because they get the fingers all kind of,
yeah.
People in their
How
cocktail
about some
dresses
kale
and
chips?
stuff. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that would work. Okay, so that's the second hors d'oeuvre, the antipasto cone, okay? So we're going to go on to the third and final hors d'oeuvre. I think we're running just a little bit short on time. I'm going to actually move some of this stuff back to here.
This one sounds really cool.
Yeah, this is fun. And again, this is one where I just kind of show you a few little store-bought techniques that you can do at home. Do you know what a gastrique is? Have you learned that yet?
Vinegar and sugar?
Yeah, reduced to a syrup.
Yeah.
Bonus points for Jeff. Nice.
It's actually just learned that one today.
Good. Yeah, refresher course. I love it.
All about
All
timing.
right. So we're going to make a faux gastrique. And he's right. It's vinegar and sugar. What we're going to do here is we're going to take, oops, excuse me, it's stuck on there. Seedless blackberry jam. Let me get a utensil from down here. And balsamic vinegar. We're going to go 1 part balsamic vinegar into the blender. And we're going to use 3 parts of seedless blackberry jam. Seedless blackberry jam. The seeds will give you fits if you buy the wrong brand. Okay? And then we'll put the lid on.
Is it hard to find?
No. You can find any supermarkets readily available, but you got to look for seedless. Seedless.
Seedless.
Yes, otherwise it's not. We're going to just let this go. And that's it. Basically what you've made is a blackberry balsamic sauce. You want to put it into a squeeze bottle like this. And then you've got it ready to go. Okay, so.
Now is no heat required?
For that?
Yeah.
No, because it's not really a gastrique. It kind of looks and tastes and is familiarized with that, but it's actually just a blackberry balsamic sauce.
Okay.
But it's awesome because of the pectin that it has in it. It doesn't bleed on the plate. Like if you try to reduce that stuff down, you try to decorate plates, a lot of times it'll bleed and it'll get all messy. It prevents it stays right where you put it, and it's amazing. So we're actually I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do with it later. So what I've got here is some basic ciabatta bread, and I'm just gonna sit here and make some toast points. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut little squares. It's kind of tedious stuff, but again, you can do these in advance. We're gonna cut little squares like this, and we're gonna put them onto a sheet pan, and then we're gonna bake them at about 350. We're gonna brush them with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and then bake them at 350 degrees for about 8 minutes.
Until done?
Pepper. Yeah, until they're golden brown. By the power of TV, happen to have some that I made earlier today. Nice, crispy, crunchy little things, okay? All right, we're going to go on to the brie. Just a nice French brie, whatever you prefer. We're going to cut a little slice of brie, okay? And then what we want to do is try to line it up so it lines up the same size as the bread. So let me do a couple here.
Do you have to make sure that the brie is really cold, straight out of the fridge?
If you don't want to have nightmare slicing it, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just pulled this out, but yeah, it's a soft cheese. But again, as these sit, they'll soften up naturally and stuff like that. So I'll do one more just for good measure here. I like do things with 3s. All right. So we got 3 of these done. The next thing we're going to do is take a green apple. Let me wipe my knife off here. Actually, I'm going to switch knives and get my serrated blade back here. All right. So in the interest of time, I'm not going to get my peeler out. I'm just going to use a serrated blade. We're just going to peel a little section of. That's a trick too. If you're going to make these up for a party, only peel what you need at the time because they do turn brown. If you do have to make a bunch up, I've got some acidulated water here, just some cold water, a little lemon in it. That'll help slow that process down so you don't turn them brown. Okay, we got a melon baller. Now I'm going to use this melon baller to actually make apple balls. So it's basically just go in there, and you're just going to get in there and just core these guys out. We need 3 of them, so I'll get in there and get 3 good ones there. All right. So that's simple. What we're going to do is we're just going to set one of these apples on top of each one of our little brie mountains there. All righty. And we got our sauce. We're just going to finish it with. Now I like to do this over a tray as opposed to doing it on the platter. It keeps from making a huge mess. And we're just going to drizzle a little bit of that sauce on top of each one of these. And as you can see, it sits where you put it because of the pectin in it. So it's something you can do for a party. You put these little things out. People are like, what are that? There you go. You get these nice little funky hors d'oeuvres that are really simple to make, and they're really tasty, and they're super easy. You can make the apples up in advance, keep them in the water, make your toast points up, and just keep them in a dry climate. You could slice your brie, put it on wax paper if you wanted to. You got all 3 ready to go. You just bang these out right before the guests arrive. So simple stuff, guys. Looks like we're right at about a half hour, so I want to thank you all for tuning in today, and had a good time. Hope to see you again real soon. Thanks.
Well, that was super quick. Can't believe you made 3 amazing looking hors d'oeuvres in that amount of time. But thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you to Chef Dennis, of course, for showing us these amazing recipes, and to Jeff. And we'll be back again next Tuesday at 3:30, so be sure to go to FoodiesLive.com and we'll get more information up there. Thanks, guys.
That's a little out of your league, don't you think?
The whole salmon.
You do have a backup plan, though, right? You know, like catering. Do they even like fish?
Make your meals, even the ambitious ones, come out just right.
You're actually enjoying this, aren't you?
The power, finesse, and ease of Wolf cooking instruments
Okay.
leave no room for doubt.
You've changed.